Hi everyone, Joella May here. Don't forget to like and subscribe down at the bottom. I know, it's been a hot minute since I've made any videos. I lost like 10 of them. I don't even know what's been loaded or uploaded. I've been traveling. I'm an exhausted mess, so excuse my pajama attire. Excuse my pajama attire. As you can tell, my accent comes out more when I'm sleeping. So let's see if I can get it to where you can see what I'm doing and not just me. No. Okay, how about here? I know I had it over there before. Okay, you can kind of see the cutting board, but not really. Anyway, I'm pulling out my basil paste, my pesto paste that I made before I left for last trip. I'm going to use that in what I'm cooking today. So I already got my onions all cut up. And then I got my scallions over here, and these are left over from work. I'm so happy about. Oh, yeah. So from work, I got a bunch. Look at my mouth. A bunch. I'm so happy. Of asparagus. All left over from the show. So I am going to make an onion and asparagus sauteed dish with my pesto sauce. So since I'm super tired, use my little, I love this thing to open jars with. If you ever have any arthritis or something, you want to get these. These are great for opening any jars or bottles. I love them. Make life so much simpler. Since it's been sitting in the fridge, the oil is hard. So I'm going to need to get a spoon to dish it out. Whoa! I'm in the process of moving. Yeah, I'm going to be moving in about a month. So everything is like all over the place in boxes. Don't know what I'm doing just yet. Not sure where I'm moving to. I'm hoping that I can figure that out this summer while I go on my road trip. Oh, by the way, today is April 6th. Technically, we call this the full moon. It's the pink full moon in Libra. It's funny though, because my moon is in Sag, but my sun sign is Libra. So how does that really work? Would I celebrate the Sagittarius moon or the Libra moon or both? Who knows? I have so much Libra in my chart, it's hard to tell the difference. Anyway, I'm going to let this sit with just the onions and let it saute on the stove for a little bit until the oil loosens up to see if I need to add any more to it. And I always stir with a wooden spoon. Because I like to have all elements in my food. So this is my earth. Fire is heat. Food products is also earth and water and air. Because you have to have water and air to make food, right? Yeah, that's one thing about this. So there we go. Now you can kind of see it. I'm trying to fuzz out the background. Anyway, so we're going to turn this on. Usually I do this, I'm so tired, I do these in quick snap videos. Because there's so much prep and stuff to do in between. So I'll have that on the stove. I turned it on high until it heats up, and then I'll probably turn it down to 3 or 4. I'll keep my jar to the side in case there's any leftover sauce that I want to save for later, but I doubt it. You never know, because I'm only going to be home for a couple days, so I gotta, like, as I'm prepping, pre-prep and post. Anyway, gotta prep for now and later. So sometimes I like to cut my scallions with the scissors just because it's more fun. It's easier to cut the bad spots off, you know, because sometimes the edges will get a little wilty or whatever. I'll do this at least for the shorter, greener part. The stockier part, I'll usually use the knife. I like to cut all my fresh herbs with scissors when I can. It just makes them, I feel like they come out a little better that way. It's just a personal thing. But when I'm traveling, I'll use my fingers a lot. I like to travel with at least 2 different herbs. This last road trip, I was traveling with mint and basil. Unfortunately, I lost my basil the last day I was there. But, ironically, losing my basil forced me to have conversations with people, asking me if they saw my basil. I felt like I was looking for my lost dog. It was interesting. But I got to meet a few really amazing people. And so I'm going back to Fort Lauderdale to work another show. I'm just trying to get everything together right now. You know, unpack, repack, get back down south. You're like, why would I go all the way up north to go all the way back down south? You know, cost of living, it's cheaper up here than it is down there. So even with all the traveling and everything, it's still more cost effective for me to travel. Than it is to stay home and work. So I'll put all those ends into my container that has my scallions growing from before. I can hear the sizzle start. It's time to stir the pot. Let's check it out. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I'll turn it down. It's very happy now. I don't even know if I can turn it around in this mode. So I'll let that cook for a bit. This is going to be one of the most raw food videos I've made in a long time. Usually I do a lot more preparation than this. But I'm just trying to make myself something to eat really quick before I have to unpack my car. Yeah. This one got missed somehow. I'm not going to... one got missed. Alright, so I'll move the ends to the side. And one of the reasons why I love these particular cutting boards is because they're flexies. So I can just take it like this, drop it in, and it'll calm down a little bit. And then I can scoop together whatever's left on the cutting pad into one little spoon. And then we'll stir the scallions into the onions and to our basil paste. We'll give it that very beautiful green and white effect. I know, I'm doing so much green today. I really want to do rainbow color. That means I have to rummage in my fridge and see what other colors I still have. I'm sure I still have some peppers that are good. Look at the onions. They look so yummy. You're like, that's a lot of onions and scallions. That's all right. It's going in asparagus. So, if anything, base it out. I don't know. So, if you know anything about asparagus, the ends pop off, right? So that's what you do. Is you pop the ends off, and you just kind of break them up and throw them in. I was doing this all weekend while I was making pastafari for the show, while I was working at Solar Cafe for Spring Reunion and Resonate. I love working at festivals. It's just so much fun that way. You get to have live music, outdoor, open air, fresh food, all day long, smoothies and juice. It's great. Outdoor life, meeting new people, everybody to be so thankful for me making them food and making them good food, healthy food, food that they enjoy eating. It's such an amazing experience. So, you know, because if you know me and you follow me, you know I'm also a private chef. So cooking for masses it's a lot of fun. I can't wait to actually do some catering for some of the festival events, working on that process. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, everything's a day to day. You know, festival life, it's not for everyone. It's not easy. It's a lot of networking. It's a lot of socializing, which I'm not normally a part of. If you know me, I love hermit mode, living in my room, but since I'm going to need to move soon, it's time for me to be on the road for a while and to get used to that. The hardest transition is my son. He doesn't want to do the traveling part. So I'm trying to figure out a way to make it most comfortable for him. Otherwise, he's going to have to start learning how to live a life without mom. That'll be interesting. I mean, he only sees me every once in a while anyway. But, yeah, it's a crazy world out there. I got a lot of asparagus to break up. This is going to be a big dish. I mean, this is just 2 bunches. I think I have like 3 or 4 more in my cooler. When I still have my fennel to cook because I never got to cook it when I was in Miami, and I was so busy working that I never took it to work to cook while I was there. I meant to. It's still good in my cooler, but I never got that far. It's nice because once I make this dish, I'll freeze like half of it. So when I come back from my next trip, I'll have asparagus again. That way I don't get too overwhelmed with it. I'll figure out what other kind of dish I'm going to make with the rest of it later on once I get my car more unpacked when I do lunch or dinner. Because I got to cook everything that's in my cooler. None of that should stay for much longer. I think I'm going to be here 4 days, so I should be able to finish everything. Yeah, it's a different kind of life when you live in your cooler. For sure. It's a lot of meal planning and similar ingredients to different recipes and stuff like that. But it's good to do that because your body likes to take food in groupings. It gets it retains the nutritional value of each food a little bit better if you're able to maintain a particular food as a staple in your system for a couple of days. It doesn't have to be that long. It's just be a few days. It doesn't have to be 2 weeks or a month. I mean, sometimes some foods you don't need in your system for more than a week to give your body that boost. Because everything carries a different set of nutrients, a different sets of energy and vitalities. Like you can find vitamin A or vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin K in so many different foods, and they can be all different colors. It's still going to give you, even though it's the same vitamin, you'll get a different energy from it or a different concentration from it when you receive it from a different fruit or vegetable. Grain, herbs. I mean, herbs are plants, so they are still, I guess, technically a vegetable because they're leafy, like leafy greens. I don't know. Flowers would be considered fruits, right? Because it's a nectar. So, I guess herbs are both. I never really thought of it. Did they teach that in grade school? I don't know. I don't think they did. It's like they just say sugar. They don't say the difference between sugars. Refined sugar, natural sugar, alternative sweeteners. They don't explain that in grade school, do they? I don't think so. They never did when I went to school. I mean, brown sugar, white sugar, they have different properties. Brown sugar has more nutritional value, just like molasses, but you don't want to use a lot of it because, it can be intense. It's like a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like this taste of apple cider vinegar. It smells like feet. It's like, okay, well, why do you have any reaction to that sense of smell? What is the memory that you associate it with? Those kinds of things. It's like I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about allergies. And, it's really in the mindset. Or it's in a traumatic pattern. It's like Dr. Joe Dispenza says, we can cure ourselves. I mean, people do it all the time in his lectures, retreats, whatever you call them. Seminars. That's a technical word for it, I guess. But, yeah. Think about your mindset. how you want to live your life, what you believe in, what you don't believe in, change your paradigm. It's really not that hard. You know, we go through a very traumatic experience during the process because we have to let go of old patterns that we believe to be true for however we existed in this life. You know, and change is a very scary thing for a lot of people. But the more you embrace it and embellish change, the more exciting it becomes. And then soon you just want to receive more change, because then you'll start to feel what stagnant is like, instead of saying, oh, I'm just comfortable, when you're really not, you know. We're almost there. We got about 4 or 5 left. Yeah, not too much left over. They're snapping. They're still pretty healthy, snapping pretty good. And that's the one thing I like about snapping asparagus, because then you know you're getting the healthy parts. Because if it doesn't snap, that means it's lost its nutrition. And you can feel the difference in the snaps, if it's a hollow snap or a solid snap. We got 2 more left, and then it's time to stir. Yeah, I'm definitely going to want to add something else to it. I'm going to have to rummage around in my fridge, so I'm probably going to make a part 2 to this video, just so I can find some more color to add to the asparagus, because it's gotten super huge. Like, there you go. It's raised up over the dish. So I'm going to stir it around, but you can't even see the onions anymore. I know, right? It's hilarious. But yeah, so asparagus, onions, scallions with pesto. Vegan pesto, that is. So I'm just going to let this sit and saute on the stove for a good 15-20 minutes. Because that's a lot of asparagus for it to cook. And in the meantime, I'll rummage around in my fridge. So I'll see you again on part 2 of Asparagus and Scallions Quick Fix Tips. Remember, I love you, and I love me, and you love you, and I'll take care of me, and you take care of you, and we'll be good. And you have an amazing grand rising, you beautiful souls.